Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Let's begin lesson number 27. Now we have seen that alhamdulillah we have completed with the verbs. It was a long journey, but alhamdulillah finally we completed it. And now we go back to the nouns again. As we started book one from the nouns, and as we know that from the nouns, these pronouns are very important. And now the last 5 or 6 lessons, they all deal with the nouns. We have learned about the pronouns, and as we know that there are 2 types of pronouns. The first one is ad-damairu al-munfasilatu, detached pronouns. And we know that they are used as subject, and we have like 14 of them. We have learned about huwa, huma, hum for the third person, or al-ghaib, hiya, huma, hunna. And I'm sure like this is not new to you. You know this also. Then we have the second person, which is called al-mukhatab. We have anta, antuma, antum for the masculine, and anti, antuma, and antunna is for the feminine. And then we have the first person, al-mutakallim, where we have ana. And please remember that even for the dual, we use nahnu, and also for the plural, we use nahnu. And that is for the masculine. And similarly, for the feminine singular, we use ana, and for the dual, we use nahnu, and for the plural, we also use nahnu. For example, there are 2 students, male students, and they want to say, we both are students. So they will say, nahnu talibani. And similarly, if there are 2 feminine students, they will say, nahnu talibatani. So for the dual, we use nahnu, and also for the plural, we use nahnu. Then we have ad-damairu al-muttasilatu, which is called attached pronouns. And in the attached pronouns, we have hu, huma, hum, and then we have ha, huma, hunna. That is for the third person. For the second person, we have ka, kuma, kum, and ki, kuma, kunna. And for the first person, we have e, which comes with the noun, for example, kitab and kitabi. And ni, as we know, it comes with the verb. It comes with the verb. For example, you say, he helped me, sa'adani, he helped me. He hit me, darabani. So it comes with the verb, and this one comes with the noun. And then we have, similarly, we have na, which is used for the dual, and also it is used for the plural. And similarly, we have, for the feminine, we have e, for example, kitabi, and then we have ni for the verb, and then we have na for the dual and plural. Now, mashallah, you have learned almost all the 3 books. So what are the possibilities of attached pronouns? What do we use them with? The attached pronouns. We use them with the noun, right? And we use them with the verb, and also we use them with the preposition. So when we use with the noun, they are always mudaf ilayh. The attached pronouns, whenever we use with the noun, they are always what? Mudaf ilayh. For example, we say kitabuhu. So when we say kitabuhu, his book, so we know that kitab is mudaf and hu is mudaf ilayh. Similarly, if we have the preposition before it, for example, fi, so it becomes fihi, then it becomes jar majroor. And if we have a verb before that, for example, ra'aytu, and then you say ra'aytuka, I saw you. So now in this case, they are used as object. So when they are used with the verb, they are always object. When they are used with the noun, they are always mudaf ilayh. And when they are used with the preposition, for example, fiha, so whenever they are used with the preposition, they are always majroor. So they are mudaf ilayh, they are majroor, and they are maf'ul bihi, or they are the object of the verb. This might be new, not necessarily, but like these are called damair nasbi, pronouns of nasb. The first ones that we discussed, huwa, huma, hum, they are damair raf'i. And the second one that we discussed, they are mansub and majroor. And the ones that we can see over here, they are always used as pronouns of nasb, damair nasbi. They are always used as object. And they come basically with the word iya. And iya is basically used for the purpose of hasrun, yani confinement, or in the other words, we can say for the purpose of emphasis. So these are basically, they are always used in the place of object. They cannot be used as subject. So we have iyahu, iyahuma, iyahum, iyaha, iyahuma, iyahunna. And then we continue with iyaka, iyakuma, iyakum, and iyaki, iyakuma, iyakunna, iyaya, wa iyana, and also iyana. So when it comes with the ya al-mutakallim, it comes with fatha, as we can see over here, whether it is masculine or feminine. So it will be iyaya, and then we have iyana for the dual, and similarly for the plural, we have the same iyana. Or for example, when someone says to you jazakallahu khairan, and then you say wa iyak, that means may Allah also reward you with the same or something better than that. Iyaka. So basically we say iyaka or iyaki. And when we talk to the plural, we say iyakum. These are generally, not always, generally used after illa, la na'budu illa iyah, as we know. And similarly, these are used as object, or generally they are used as second object or as an object. What does it mean, a second object? For example, there are some verbs like a'ta, yu'ti, i'tan. So these are the verbs that need two objects. So generally they are used as the second object. So this is a brief summary of the pronouns. And now we can start our lesson. Do you have any questions so far? I believe everything is clear, inshallah. So let's move on. Ad-darsu as-sabi'u wal-ishruna, lesson number 27. So what do we have in this lesson? We have aqsam ad-dama'ir, types of pronouns. And then in types of pronoun, what do we have? We have damairu nasbi al-munfasilatu. Then we have ad-damairu nasbi al-munfasilati, the detached pronouns. And similarly, we have wa mawadi'ul itiyani biha, object pronouns and their places of use. And then we have min awzani masdar al-fi'l al-thalathi al-mujarridi fa'ilun. And then we have one new pattern of masdar for the verbs that have three root letters, triliteral verbs. As we know that the masdar of the verbs that are derived, the mazid fi forms, their masdar are fixed. Like we have learned, like from number 2 to 10. So taf'ilun wa mufa'alatun wa istif'alun, they are fixed. But for the verbs that have three root letters, they always have different masdar, and that's very, very important. For example, we have kataba yaktabu kitabatan. Similar, we have nasara yansuru nasran. And here we will see that some of the masadr, they come on the pattern of fa'ilun. Al-mudarrisu, the teacher, ya usamatu, or Usama. And we know that Usama is mamnu min as-sarf. And also after ya, and the noun is always light, yani it only takes dhamma, it cannot take tanween. Ya Usamatu. Al-muraqibu yatlubuka fi maktabihi. Yatlubuka fi maktabihi. The controller wants to see you in his office. So this is easier. I'm sure al-muraqibu, as we can see, is because it's the nominal sentence, so this is subject. And yatlubuka is predicate, and fi maktabihi is jar majroor. Al-mudarrisu, so the teacher says, O Osama, the teacher wants to see you in his office. So here we have maktabihi. So here it is, the attached pronoun, as we can see over here. It is mudaf ilayh. Maktab is mudaf wa majroor, and he is mudaf ilayh. So we can see here that it is used here as mudaf ilayh. Usama, uridu an akhudha, I want to take, mai or maya, zamilayya hadaini. Now, Usama says that I want to take these two classmates of mine with me. Uridu, I want, an, to, as we know that an gives nasb to the verb that follows it. So it was akhudhu, and because of an, it has become akhudha. I want to take maya with me. Zamilayya hadaini, these two classmates of mine. Zamilayya, Any idea about this, Zamilayya? As we know that the singular is
The noon
the
is what
singular,
is that?
yeah, the singular is Zamilun, and then we have the dual. The dual is Zamilani, and the
Laini.
and the nasb and the jar will be Zamilaini, Zamilaini. All right. Now, what do we want to use? We want to use uh, the ya al mutakallim with that, so it will becomes Zamilaini plus ya al mutakallim. And you know that when the dual is used as mudaf, then what happens? The noon gets dropped. What happens? The noon gets dropped, so it becomes uh, Zamilai plus ya al mutakallim. So he wants to say two colleagues of mine. So Zamilai plus ya al mutakallim. So we know that we have one and two yas together. Then what happens when we have two letters that are the same? We have to assimilate them. So we assimilate them with putting tashdid onto that, and then it becomes Zamilayya. Two colleagues, and hadaini, and these hadani, hadaini, hadaini. And we know that here we have learned previously that here ismul ishara is used as adjective. So it is basically Zamilayya is mansub and hadaini is sifa. It is used as adjective. Okay. What if I say hadani zamilani? What will be the meaning of this? Hadani zamilani. These are two colleagues. But what we want to say two colleagues of mine. Okay. Okay. Question number 2. Why here Zamilain is mansub? Why is it mansub? Zamilai.
أريد the fi'al file is there, Ustaz.
Excellent. Uridu, and then after that, akhwada, basically. So it is maful bihi for akhwada. So zamilani, zamilaini, zamilaini. So it has become zamilai. And then when we use it as mudaf, as you have seen over here, then the noon gets dropped, and then it becomes zamilayya hadaini. And we know that because this is masuf, so the sifa has to be also mansub, because both of them, this is mansub and this is also mansub. I want to take these two classmates of mine with me. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher, lam yatlub, and then we know that this is sakin, and when we connect it with al, we will connect it with kasra. Lam yatlubil muraqibu, the controller did not ask illa, except iyaka, except for you. So the word by word translation will be illa iyaka, except for you. But when we do the running translation, it will be the controller wants to see only you. Lam yatlub al-maraqibu illa iyaka. The controller wants to see only you. Now, how do we get the meaning of only? As we have this iya. Yeah, iya. So it gives the meaning of hasrun, as I said, confinement, or it gives the meaning of emphasis. That something is basically confined to something. So the controller wants to see only you. Usamatu akhsha annahu nasiya. I'm afraid that he forgot. What did he forget about? Inni wa iyahuma. Indeed, I and both of them, mushtarikuna, are participating fi musabaqatis sibahati, in the swimming or in swimming competition. Yeah. Or match. Sabaqa yusabiqu musabaqatan is to compete. So he says, I'm afraid that he forgot. Indeed, I and they both are participating in swimming competition. So I'm sure this is clear, and there is nothing to discuss about it. Al-mudarrisu khudhuma idhan, then take both of them. Khudhuma, khudh, as we know that this is fi'l al-amr. Huma will be, this is fi'l plus fa'il maf'ul bihi, and idhan, as we know, is generally used after the statement. So take both of them, or then, or in that case, take both of them. Aina kitabul mudiri ya Ibrahimu. Where is the book of the headmaster or the controller or the manager, O Ibrahim? So basically, when it's in the context of the classroom, I think it should be translated as the headmaster and not manager. In any case, it could be used because adara yudiru idaratan is to arrange, to organize, to take care of something. So it can be used in different meanings. It can be used as manager, also as headmaster, also as dean, and it has
The
several
admin
meanings.
building, it can be the manager or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Ibrahimu a'taytuhu إياه. Okay, أعطيت, I gave who, him. I gave him what? إياه. So basically he wants to say, I gave it to him. I gave it to him. Okay. So أعطيت, I gave who, him.
The book.
Yeah, إياه what? It.
To him.
I gave it to him. Okay. So in English, it will be translated as it. And as you rightly said, it refers to the book. So he says, أعطيته إياه. I gave it to him. المدرس وأين دفاتر الطلاب? And where are the notebooks of the students? Ibrahim says, أعطيتهم إياها. I gave it to them. أعطيت, I gave whom, them. إياها, it refers to what?
The
Ha refers
books.
to the
The notebooks.
Fatir. Excellent. Yeah. So he says, I gave it to them. Now, so we can see over here that the use of iya, as we can see that, as we discussed in the beginning of the lesson, that it can be used as the second object as well. So hum will be the first object and iyaha will be the second object. And in English, generally, it is translated as it. I gave it to you, I gave it to them. Not always, but most of the times it will be translated as it. I gave it to them. Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher. وَأَيْنَ مُجَلَّتِي, and where is my magazine? So the teacher is also asking several questions about different things. And where is my magazine? And Ibrahim says, أعطيتكها. So what does it mean? أعطيت, I gave ka, you, ha, it. Because we know that mujalla is feminine, so that's why the pronoun that we are using for the mujalla is also feminine.
It's
أعطيت
Majalla.
كها.
Majalla. Majalla.
Mujallatun, basically. It's
Okay.
mujallatun. And then, you know, when we add ya al-mutakallim with that, it becomes mujallati. Because we know it requires kasra, so it becomes mujallati. I gave it to you. أعطيتك, أعطيت, I gave ka, you, and ha, it. I gave it to you. المدرس متى أعطيتنيها? When did you give it to me? Now let's break it down into several parts, we can say. So first is أعطيت, as we can see. You gave. Now we have ni over here. What is this? What do we call it?
Noon of protection.
Noon of protection, noon al-wiqaya. And why do we use it? We use it before the ya al-mutakallim,
Verb.
right? Yeah, so أعطيت ni, and then we have the object. The second object is ha. So mata أعطيتنيها, when did you give it to me? When did you give it to me? أعطيت, you give, and then we have ni will be translated as me, and ha, it, as we can see over here. So when did you give it to me? Yeah, so alhamdulillah, now you see these attached pronouns are really interesting. Sometimes they can be confusing, but mashallah, as we have seen that since they are used with the noun and they are also used with the verb and also they are used with the prepositions, and that's why they are used a lot. And if we learn how to use them properly, then inshallah, our understanding will definitely increase a lot. أعطيتك ها, أعطيتك, أعطيت, I gave ka, you, ha, it. متى? أمسي, yesterday. في مكتبك, in your office. So he says, I gave it to you yesterday in your office. أخذتها, you took it. ووضعتها, and then you put it في الدرج, in the drawer. So he says, I gave it to you yesterday in your office. You took it and put it in the drawer. So I think this is all inshallah clear. Al-Mudarrisu na'am. Al-ana tadhakkartu. He says, now I remember. You remember tadhakkar? Tadhakkara yatadhakkaru, from number 5, to remember something. So tadhakkartu. Yeah, yes, now I remember, or I remember it. Then there is a small pause. So these 3 dots, they refer to the pause. There is a pause, and then after that, and the teacher says, Masmuka ya akhi, what is your name, oh brother? He says, huwa, he, that means that student. Iyaya tas'alu ya ustadu?
You asking me
Yeah,
only, Ustad?
it could be tas'aluni, right? Or tas'alu anni. But when
But
we say
already,
iyaya, so when
yeah,
we
it's
put
there.
when we put object before the verb, we know generally object comes after the verb, yeah. But when we bring it before the verb, then we use it for the purpose of further emphasis. Hasr, yani, we make it more emphatic. So, iyaya tas'alu ya ustadu. What is the i'rab of iyaya? It is
The nasab.
object. Yeah, it's maful bihi for what? Tas'alu, yani you ask. And it could also be tas'alu anni. Are you asking about me? But if you say iyaya tas'alu ya ustadu, are you asking about me, or teacher? Then it becomes more emphatic. Are you asking
Is it
about me, or teacher?
always
Al
it is
mudarisu.
necessary when yeah is there, we have to bring it in the front, like iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. We don't say na'budu iyyaka no, Ustad. The
No, no,
style.
no. Yeah, that's right. But it's not necessary. It is also possible to say na'buduka, isn't it?
Yeah,
Na'buduka
but
wa
we have to be more
nasta'inuka.
emphasis. Are you asking? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you say na'buduka wa nasta'inuka, inshallah, it's coming in the next part of the lesson. So it is also possible, but when we say iyyaka na'budu, then it becomes more emphatic. It is used for the purpose of
Me
emphasis,
only.
and then it gives the meaning of only
Yeah.
or alone. So that's why we say iyyaka. So it's not necessarily that it has to be like it should come first, or we have to make it muqaddam. But if you make it muqaddam, that means you are using it for the purpose of further emphasis. Al-Madarisu na'am, Iyaka as'alu. So the teacher can also say as'alu Iyaka. I'm asking about you. So we know that as'alu is fail plus file and Iyaka is maful bihi. Whether we bring them in the beginning of the sentence or we put them after the verb, they will always remain as object pronouns. They cannot be we cannot make them as mubtadaun. They cannot be mubtadaun. They can always be as they will always be as the object of the verb. So as'alu, as we know, is fail plus file, and iyaka will be maf'ul bihi, yani I'm asking only about you. I'm asking or I'm asking, yeah, it should be I'm asking only about you. Huwa, he says, ismi Okashatu, my name is Okasha. Iltahaqtu bil Mahdi al Yawma. He says that I joined the institute today, and you know that al Yawma means today. Al Yawma akmaltu lakum dinukum. Yeah, so it means today. والتحق معي ثلاثة طلاب من بلدي. And then he says that there are 3 more students who joined with me from my country. والتحق معي ثلاثة طلاب, 3 students من بلدي from my country. هم في فصل, what will be the ending of آخر? Quickly please. هم في فصل
آخر.
آخر. أحسنتي. Yes, آخر, as we know, is ممنوع من الصرف. So that's why it does not accept kasra, it will only take fatha. They are in the other classroom. Ya Ustadu, O teacher, arju an tusaidani, I request you to help us. Faqad fatatani darusun kathiratun, as indeed we have missed a lot of lessons. Fatatani, yani missed me, but then it will be translated as we have missed a lot of lessons. Fata yafutu is to miss. So when you talk about something that you missed, then we say either we say fata or we say fatat. When do we use fata and when do we use fatat? Quickly. Fata will be used for when the noun is masculine, right? When the noun is masculine. For example, you say fatani al-qitaru. I missed the train. Fatani al-qitaru. But if you want to say I missed the aeroplane, then what will we say? فاتتني الطائرة. فاتتني الطائرة. I missed the airplane. So if the verb is if the noun or the doer is feminine, then we have to use the verb for the feminine. And if the doer is masculine, then we have to use the verb for masculine. It's a very basic thing. We have been learning it from book number 1. So why we have fatatni? Because we know durusun is the plural of darsun, and this is a broken plural, and it is treated as singular feminine. That's why the verb that we have is also for the singular feminine. فقد فاتتني دروس كثيرة. Indeed, we have missed a lot of lessons. Al-Madarisu, the teacher, Sa'usa'iduka wa iyahum. So the teacher says, Sa'usa Sa'ada yusa'idu musa'adatan is to help, right? So he says, Sa'usa'iduka, I will help you, wa iyahum, and them, insha'Allahu, if Allah wills. So which verb form is Sa'ada yusa'idu musa'adatan? Do you remember the verb forms or you forgot? Fa'ala yufa'ilu mufa'alatan, right?
أفعل يا أستاذ.
La jahada yujahidu mujahadatan. Sa'ada yusa'idu musa'adatan. When it involves two parties.
4
When
Ustad.
3.
3.
4 is af'ala yufa'ilu ifa'alan, right?
Aslama. Yeah. 4 is
Yeah.
Aslama.
So we have taf'il, then we have mufa'ala, and then we have if'al. So this is mufa'ala. This is which one? Form number 3. Because form number 3 is basically action is reciprocal when there are more than two, or there are two parties or two
Jahada.
persons involved, right? So the teacher versus the students. So that's why the teacher says, I will help you and them if Allah wills. Ukashatu lan nansa musa'adataka iyana abadan insha'Allahu. Okay, nansa, should I put like here, should I put fatha or no need?
Salif Maksura Ustad.
Alif maqsura. As we know, alif maqsura does not accept fatha. So what is the i'rab of nansa?
It's Mansub.
Mansub, excellent. Because we know after harf lan, the mudari becomes mansub. For example, lan adhaba, I will never go. So when we say adhaba, we can see that it was adhabu and it changed into adhaba. We can see it. But here, what happened? Here we cannot see. So we will say here we have fatha muqaddara, right? What do we have? Fatha
But
muqaddara.
in all the 3 cases, it will be like this only, Ustad, right? So
Yes.
we have to based on the this thing what it is coming, we have to tell the Arab.
We have to tell, yes. Yeah, so what do we have basically? We have hidden fatha over there. So we will say fatha muqaddara, right? The i'rab.
Yes, Ustad.
Lan nansa musa'adataka. And we know nansa is fail plus file and musa'ada is maful bihi. Musa'adataka, your help, iyana, to us. Abadan, we know that it is used with the mudari. Insha'Allah, if Allah wills. So he says, we will never forget your help to us if Allah wills. Al-Mudarris, the teacher, Araka, I see you, and we know that ara basically sometimes it takes two objects. So ka is the first one, and tujidu could be the second one as well. Araka tujidul lughat al-arabiyyata. I see that you are an expert in Arabic language. So araka tujidul lughat al-arabiyyata. Or I see that you have very good, or you are very good at Arabic language. Man allamaka iyaha. Who taught it to you? Man allama. Allama is from number 2. Ka will be maful bihi al-awwal, and iyaha will be al-maful bihi al-thani. Man allamaka iyaha. Who taught it to you? I see that you are very good at Arabic language. Who taught it to you? So as we can see, ka is the first object and it is translated as you, and iyaha will be it. Who taught it to you? Okasha says, allamani iyaha abi. Allamani,
Father taught me.
allamani, he taught me. Where is the verb? Where is, sorry, the file? The doer.
The doer is Abi.
Abi, excellent. So doer is Abi. So ni is basically object number 1, and iyaha is basically ya al-mutakallim. I should say ya al-mutakallim is maf'ul number 1, and iyaha is maf'ul number 2. And now we can see that
sentence araka. You said the ka is the first mudaf ilayh.
La,
and
the first
tuji,
object, the first object.
yeah. Sorry, no, not the first. What is that? The object, yeah, not mudafillah. And the second one, that is maful bihi, mean to say that.
Yes, yes.
Tujidu, yeah, tujida. Yeah, anta.
Na, ajada yujidu. So why do you think it should be mansub? Because it's a
You said
verb.
it requires ara. You requires two objects, so I was just thinking like, what is the second one?
Yeah, because you know that the verb can be the
Hidden one.
object as well. Yeah.
Second one is hidden.
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
araka, tujidu is fail plus file, but here it will be verb object number 1, and this one will be verb number
Okay.
2. Yeah, because
Okay.
tujidu, yani anta tujidu, right?
Yeah,
So we
that's
know
right.
that ka and anta, they are the same. So that's why we can say that
Hidden. Okay.
tujidu, yeah, is also object number 2. Is this clear?
Tujidu, yeah, anta, but okay.
Because anta and ka, what is the objects that we use for
Yeah,
anta?
yeah, the attached pronoun is ka only. I
Ka, yeah, we
understand.
cannot use anta, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it will be, we cannot say araka ka, it's not possible to use it twice, right? So araka tujidul lughat al arabiyata man allamaka iyaha, who taught it to you? And he says allamani abi iyaha, that's also possible. But when he says allamani iyaha abi, it becomes more emphatic, more powerful. So he says, my father taught it to me. So it would be basically, indeed, my father taught it to me, or my father taught it to me, or only my father taught it to me. Al-Mudarrisu iqra al-ayati ya Hamidu. Read the verses, O Hamid. And now Hamid yasta'idhu wa yubasmilu. Yubas, yeah, yubas. So why do we have this dhamma over here? This shouldn't be here, should be. Okay. Yasta'idhu. Yes, please tell me about yasta'idhu.
Istihada, yastahidu.
Isti'adha, yasta'idhu. Isti'adhatan. Excellent. So this is from number 10.
Basmallah.
Yeah. So to seek refuge in Allah from shaitan, that means to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Wa yubasmilu. Basmala. Yubasmilu. Basmalatan. This is what? Rubai al-Mujarrad. Yeah, Rubai al-Mujarrad, the verb that has 4 original root letters. So, yasta'idhu, he says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Wa yubasmilu, and then he says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Thumma yaqra'u, and then he reads. And now we have this verse, beautiful verse of the Quran. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'inu. So, as we were discussing in the beginning of the lesson, that it is possible to say na'buduka wa nasta'inuka. That's fine, perfectly all right. But when you want to make it more emphatic, and when we surrender to only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we do not leave any doubt, any shadow of doubt of shirk or anything else, then we say iyyaka na'budu, you alone we worship, wa iyyaka nasta'in, and you alone we ask for help. So the divine help, right? So we cannot worship anyone else, and we cannot ask anyone else when it comes to the divine help, which is a complete shirk. And whenever we make this commitment and covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is necessary for us to stick to it. And inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who say this and who believe in this and who practice this. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. So here, if you look at the meaning, sometimes you will see the translation that it is you who we worship and it is you we ask for help. In some translations, you will see it is only you we worship and only you we ask for help. And also we have here, you alone we worship and you alone we ask for help. Then we have another verse of the Quran. وَقَدَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. So as we discussed, like if you remember in the beginning of the lesson, that iyah generally comes after illa, and also it comes as the object. So now we can see in this verse of the Quran, your Lord has ordained that you worship none but him and show kindness to your parents. So here we have Allah. What is Allah? An plus la. What is this? An plus la. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا, that you don't worship. So this is la an-nahya. What is this? La an-nahya. That's why the madari is mansub. It was ta'buduna. Allah ta'budu illa. What is illa? The combination of what?
Illa. Illa.
Is the combination of in plus la.
Oh,
We never noticed about this, yeah? In la.
yeah.
In a shartiya, so except. That's why it is translated as in. Oh, sorry, except. So it is translated as except. So in plus la becomes illa. You know the rules of the tajweed, because when we have noon sakin and after that we have lam al mushaddada, then it is translated as, it is read as
Yeah,
illa.
the noon gets dropped in.
Gets dropped. Yeah, the pronunciation of the noon gets dropped, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it becomes Allah, an plus la, that no, that don't. So this is la an nahya. And here we have in, and after that we have la, illa, that means except. That's why we translate it as except. Or in English, they also translate it as but. So both of the possibilities are there. La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah. And also we say, there is no God except Allah Azza wa Jal. So both of them are the right translations. Is this clear? We have been using this for such a long time and we never paid attention that what basically illa is. It is combination of in plus la, illa. Then we have يخرجون الرسول وإياكم, Surah Al-Mumtahana, verse number 1, having driven out the prophet and yourselves. So as we can see here, waw is waw al-atf. So ar-rasul wa iyyakum. So ar-rasul is mansub and iyyakum is also mansub. So we can see that after waw al-atf, it is also used as object. Of course, it has to be object because we know that huruf atf, they connect the two similar things, two similar nouns, two similar sentences, and two similar verbs or two similar objects. Wa inna aw iyyakum la'ala hudan aw fi dalalin mubin. Now we can see here that after aw, which is also harf atf, we can also use iyyakum or we can use iyya. Wa inna aw iyyakum, and surely either we or you are rightly guided to clearly, or clearly, sorry, misguided. Wa inna aw iyyakum la'ala hudan aw fi dalalin mubin. And dalal, as we know, is the masdar of dalla yadullu dalalan, and mubin. Who will tell me about mubin quickly? If you are able to figure this out, it must be.
This one is that like maful. No, not maful.
Is this ism al-fa'il or ism al-maf'ul?
Yeah,
Fa'il,
ism maful mubin. You said something. It can based on the context, because for both it will come the same. You said something like that.
No. It's basically abana. La abana yubinu ibanatan. Abana yubinu ibanatan. Idafa yudifu idafatan. Right? So abana yubinu ibanatan fahuwa mubinun. Fahuwa mubinun. So something that is clear. So to make something clear is abana yubinu ibanatan fahuwa mubinun. So okay, idafa yudifu idafatan fahuwa
Mudafat.
la fahuwa mudifun. And when you talk about the passive, then we say udifa yudafu idafatan fadhaka mudafun. So please remember that mudafun, and similarly musharun. You remember musharun? Musharun ilayhi. So these are on the pattern of maf'ul bihi. Ashara yushiru isharatan fahuwa mushirun. And then we have ushira yusharu musharatan fadhaka musharun. Mudafun, mubanun. They are all ismul maf'ul. And mubinun, mudifun, mushirun, they will be ismul fa'il. These are ismul maf'ul. And mubinun is ismul fa'il. This is from number 2. You need to practice a little bit more. This is very common It has occurred a lot in the Quran, and inshallah, I'm sure that you will practice it more. Yusma'u raninul jarasi. Yusma'u is what? It is passive. Passive of the past or the present?
Present.
Present. Sami'a yasma'u and sumiya yusma'u. The ringing of the bell is heard. Ranin, as we say, ranna yarinnu. Ranin is masdar, and that's why it is translated as the ringing. Yusma'u raninul jarasi. The ringing of the bell is heard. هذا يوم زيارة المدرسين إيانا في المهجع. So in the end, the Sheikh has also given us, before we leave, one more use of إيانا. So هذا يوم, this day or today is the day. What kind of day is this? So يوم is mudaf and زيارتي is mudaf ilayh, and al-mudarrisina is also mudaf ilayh. Yeah. So what's going to happen now? This is the day the teachers visit us in the dormitory. Iyana fil mahja'i, they visit us in the hostel or in the dormitory. Nantadhiru, we will wait. Intadhara yantadhiru intadharan. Nantadhiru al-mudira wa iyaka ba'da salatil asri. So we will wait for you and the headmaster or the manager after asr prayer. So here, this is the day the teachers visit us. So hadha yawmu ziyarat al-mudarrisina iyana, visit us. Who? Us. Fil mahjai, in the dormitory. Nantadhiru al-mudira, we will wait for the manager. Wa iyaka, and for you, as we can see over here. We will wait for you and the manager or the headmaster after asr prayer. Al-mudarris, the teacher. Sanazurukum insha'allahu. We will visit you if Allah wills, or by the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. Zara yazuru, as you know, this is a regular form number 1, and I mean it has 3 root letters, and this is basically Zara yazuru. It is ajwaf. Sanazurukum insha'allahu. We will visit you by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So alhamdulillah, our lesson is finished. It's a really interesting lesson. Lots of different variety of the pronouns that we have seen today. And inshallah, if we are able to learn and master the pronouns, our understanding of the Quran will definitely increase a lot. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khairan.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.